September is a reminder that mental health matters for all of us. Life can get heavy sometimes, but we just want you to know it's okay to ask for help.
It's okay to reach out. Talking about your feelings doesn't make you weak. It makes you human.
That's why we created these hoodies, a small reminder that support is around you, and asking for help is a sign of strength.
Whether it's a friend, a family member, or a professional, don't wait to connect.
These hoodies are more than merch. They're a conversation starter, a way to remind each other that support is here.
And that even if things feel tough, it's never too late to talk.
Mental health isn't just a topic, it's life.
And checking in on each other can change lives.
This month, we want to remind everyone asking for help is brave.
Nobody has to do it alone.
Let's make it okay to ask for help. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Journey Podcast. If you are here, please subscribe, like, drop a comment, give us 5 stars on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast from. If you want more exclusive episodes from us, check out our Patreon. The link is in the description. We're in Brooklyn, joined by Cousin John.
Yes, sir. What's good, boys?
We have a legend in the building, one of the pioneers in the fitness online industry. Has helped thousands of men with confidence and dating and health and their physique. And he is known as the real-life Bruce Wayne. Gallagher, thank you for joining us.
What's going on, man? I'm pumped to be here.
This is awesome. Yeah, it's funny how we just said this is like a full circle moment, how years ago I edited a podcast for a client and now we're sitting here in Brooklyn.
Literally 3 years ago. And those were some good edits that hit the algo hard.
Those crushed.
Yeah.
Those crushed. Especially for a fresh account. You know,
Right.
A brand new TikTok account, brand new Instagram account, and they did well. So,
sick.
Yeah, thank you for being here, bro.
My pleasure, man.
It's the first time in Brooklyn, bro. Welcome to
Yeah.
Brooklyn, my man.
This is I never went over the bridge, man.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Glad to have you. Thanks for being here.
No, my pleasure, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I want to start with how did the whole Bruce Wayne thing come about? Because I
Yeah.
think that's awesome. Batman's my favorite superhero.
Me too.
So,
Right. So the interesting thing to start with is that movies really were my motivation to work out. Like what actually made me want to lift weights, get strong, look good was all inspired from cinema. It was as a kid watching Terminator and Van Damme movies and Sylvester Stallone. And so I would see these iconic male role models, these male action stars, and that planted the seed. I want to be strong, powerful, lean, fit. And so movies drove me to work out. And when I was building my system to crack the code to getting lean, to getting strong, to building that proportion, I wanted to create like a movie trailer that taught what my system was with the fasting, the 3 days a week, the incline press, the heavier set first, and then the lighter set, the reverse pyramid training, so on and so forth. And so the idea was, let me use a monologue, right? In the movie American Psycho. The writing style is very, very specific. This is my routine. This is the body scrub I use. This is the facial. So I kind of use that monologue style from American Psycho to teach my program, right? This is how I get in shape. But then I kind of took the Bruce Wayne sort of visuals of the mansion, the Lambo, the workout shots, the walking through the house to really kind of capture people's attention. So it was kind of taking the Bruce Wayne visuals, the American Psycho stylistic writing into my fitness approach. And I didn't know it was really going to be the Bruce Wayne video. I just had a guy on my team at the time and I'm like, what do we title this video? Like we spent a lot of money. There's a lot of thought that went into this video. Like the title's important. And he was like, dude, you got to do a real Bruce Wayne. He's like, you got the mansion, you got the Lambo, you have the hair. You know, I mean, back then I had the hair. I didn't have the buzz cut. I had the hair. He's like, real Bruce Wayne. And I'm like, fuck. Okay, let's do it. And so boom. And then that video went pretty viral. And especially like I didn't grow up in New York City or LA. Toronto's a big city, but it's nothing like New York and LA. And so when you have like a video go viral, like at that point in Toronto, like it went viral in Toronto. Everyone's like, who's this Gallagher? So I'd be walking down the street at 11 o'clock, going to a bar, and people be shouting, it's the real Bruce Wayne. It's the real Bruce Wayne.
That's amazing, bro.
Yeah. So that was sort of the origin of the Bruce Wayne concept.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah,
and it's so cool because like he is probably the only superhero that you can actually relate to as an everyday person.
100%.
Right. And that's also why like the Batman movies really like sucked me in. Like a lot of the Avengers stuff, you're fighting these crazy alien monsters. Like it just gets way too far-fetched. Yeah, Bruce Wayne was born in realism.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have any, so like the Bruce Wayne kind of story I always found like you fucking shooting webs from your hands. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Can't relate to that.
Yeah. So the Bruce Wayne kind of was always the most motivational for sure.
It's awesome.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne and like James Bond, like those are the kind of two very sort of inspiring sort of characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I was going to ask you what are the 3 films that I would say, because I've seen you talk about film a lot, and film is a big motivation for me too, in a way, but more from like a storyteller and just wanting to write films one day. Would love to know what are your top 3 films that have inspired you to get to where you're at now.
Yeah, the ones that inspire me, which is like slightly different than like my favorite films, but the ones that I really enjoy watching the most, there's really 3. Casino Royale with Daniel Craig, awesome film. Really, really good. And actually, funny enough, I think Quentin Tarantino was the one that actually spawned that movie getting made. No one wanted to make that movie. And then Quentin Tarantino was like, I want to make the original Ian Fleming book, Casino Royale. And then all of a sudden, the producers wanted to kickstart that movie. But Casino Royale, and then the Dark Knight films with Christian Bale, right? And then the third is Gladiator.
Wow.
Gladiator is one of my favorites with Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
That was just such an inspiring movie, man. Like that one was one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, if you could watch that movie and not feel something, something's wrong.
Yeah, something is completely wrong.
Yeah.
Something is completely wrong. So yeah, that Gladiator one was just crazy powerful.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the best movies ever.
Yeah, ever.
I didn't even watch the second one because
I didn't
No,
either.
you shouldn't. You
Yeah.
know? It's
No.
Yeah, anyone that said the second one was like, "Oh, dude, the second was good, man." They don't understand film.
No.
Yeah, the second one didn't hit. There was no emotional connection. Yeah, it was huge leaps.
Yeah.
Huge leaps in that one. You had the second one. You had Denzel Washington, who's 70 years old, who's playing a politician, all of a sudden become a ferocious warrior that can fight the main character.
They tried a little too hard, right?
There's way too many leaps. No, the second one was shit.
Yeah, but it's okay because the first one's a top 3 movie ever.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, you built that like brand and identity trying to teach people how to build that Hollywood physique. And I mean, it's pretty known on the internet. Like a lot of people say like you have the best natural physique like in the fitness space, because there's a lot of guys that are lying, that are saying they're natty and they're not. But like what was it that what drove you to the gym outside of the action and the Hollywood films and wanting to be like a superhero? Why did you fall in love with the gym? What was like the motivator? Because a lot of people go through something tough, or that it's a heartbreak or something like that, and then the gym is like their safe space. I know a lot of you guys reach out to us for anxiety, stress, depression. You're going through heartbreak. You can't sleep at night. Your mind doesn't shut off. Have a solution for you. Pulsetto. This is a vagus nerve stimulator. You wear it around your neck. You put some jelly on so you don't burn yourself, and you set it for stress relief, anxiety relief, sleep, burnout, pain relief. It's 6 minutes. It stimulates your vagus nerve, and I promise you, after you take it off, you feel amazing. John, what do you think about Pulsetto?
Guys, listen, I have sleep apnea. I talk about this a lot. I sleep the best when I use this at night. 6 minutes before I go to sleep, I set the app to sleep, but I also use it in the morning. I pair it with breathing techniques just to kind of start my day the right way. I do wake up very anxious sometimes, and this really helps. I put it around my neck. I put a little bit of jelly on just so I don't burn myself, and I like to start my day with this thing. I use it every day. We would not be trying to sell you guys something that we don't believe in. Pulsetto is one of those online items that you see, and you get it, and it actually works.
If you guys want to try one of these, go to the link in our description and you'll get 10% off your order. You don't have to put in any code. Our code is already applied to checkout by using that link. And I promise you guys, you won't be disappointed if you try out Pulsetto.
I mean, as a man, you want to be strong. Like that's probably the first thing. Being a man, it's important to be strong. That was just ingrained into my mind at a young age. That was one. The second thing is life is fun when you level up. So the gym is the simplest path to level up. You can add 5 pounds to a dumbbell, you can get a bit leaner, you just are leveling up in the gym. That's why all my programs are crafted to achieve progressive overload. We're adding a rep, we're adding weight. And so it's fun. And I was, I loved films as a kid. And I also was obsessed with video games. Like I was obsessed with video games because as a kid, there's not that much you can level up in, right? Like you're not making money, right? You're not, when you've barely hit puberty, it's you're not gaining tons of muscle. And so, so video games were like an outlet to level up. And so with the gym, that is why I'm drawn to the gym. Becoming strong as a man is important. I couldn't imagine being a guy and just being completely weak, to me, it just blows my mind. And there's always this, like, even when I was walking in, like, I was walking in Copenhagen, it was like last summer, and it was like during some crazy week in Copenhagen, it was all these different, like people were just drinking like crazy. And it was just a bunch of like 20-something-year-old guys drunk. And I'm walking with a girl down the street. And I just always feel this sense of like, I might have to protect at any moment, defend myself at any moment. Yep. And it might not happen, but all you need is one time. And so the idea that you're going to go through life, not know how to throw a punch, not be strong, not be athletic, to me is just crazy. It's that important. Like I've always just felt that. And maybe as a kid, I grew up with I had 3 brothers, so we're always fighting and wrestling and stuff. And I, played sports. So that was like definitely ingrained. And even my father was also very big on being strong. And all these movies obviously played an influential role, but on a biological element, like you want to be strong. Now that doesn't mean you have to go on steroids and be massive, right? But you have to be powerful, lean, strong, powerful, and ideally do a little bit of, boxing or jujitsu just to have the really it's muscle memory, the muscle memory to, punch correctly, know how to move, because in any sort of situation, it's all muscle memory. It's not like, you're not like thinking of, what to do.
Right. It's reaction.
It's all reaction.
Yeah.
So that was a huge driving force. And then really the deeper element is that when you work out, when you hit the gym, when you hit the weights, when you, do a little boxing, when you even go for a walk, it just is so good for your mood. You feel better. If someone is feeling kind of low level depression, dips in mood, waking up, not feeling confident, low energy, oftentimes it's just they're not working out. Yeah. Like when you work out consistently, you get your steps in, you're active, you get outside, you just feel good. So now, like half the reason why I work out is just because I feel better. Yeah. I just feel good when I'm active.
Yeah. And it does more, like even for me sometimes, it does more for my mental than it does for me physically.
100%.
And it just helps. Like obviously I love getting a pump. I love being like healthy and working out. But like sometimes I just go to the gym just to like shut off. Like there's nothing better than just an hour, just put your headphones in and it's an escape.
Oh no, it's great. And I was pretty big on like, to transform and get the movie star body, all you really have to do is hit the weights 3 days a week. Hit the nutrition plan. So hit your calories, protein. I like doing a daily fast, and then just get your steps in. So that's all you have to do to, transform your body. But, lately I've been implementing a little bit of zone 2 cardio, literally just for the mood boost. Wow. So on those days, on my rest days, I sometimes will do like 30-40 minutes of incline walking, at like a 60-70% heart rate. And then you get a great like mood lift after. And so that has like as I'm hitting my, mid 30s, incorporating some of the zone 2 stuff is good for longevity and just really just having that euphoric mood. So exercise is just, you feel, you look better, right? You become healthier, you live longer, but you just feel good. You realize those benefits instantly. You just feel great.
Yeah, it helps. That's why I love boxing so much. I've been boxing since I'm a kid.
Oh, wow.
And there's nothing like walking into a boxing gym and zoning everything out, because if you're in the ring and you're thinking about something else, well, then you're going to get beat up. You know what I'm saying? So I always looked at boxing as like 80% mental and like 20% physical.
Right.
It was way more of like a mental war than it ever was a physical war, and that's why I love that so much. Just because it's so chaotic that you can't worry about anything else for like that 60 minutes or whatever the case may be. You have to be dialed in here, and that'll really get you sharp mentally.
And you know, right now you have all these guys that are like chronically smoking weed and stuff, and working out. Literally, you create your own high. It's actually, they used to think it was, they used to think it was endorphins that made you feel good. But now, like, the latest science is actually showing it's endocannabinoids. So you actually create your own like natural high, similar to weed. So if you have like a really strong workout, you just feel so relaxed without any of the downsides. So literally just working out, you just create this natural high. You feel good, you feel relaxed, you sleep better. So anyone that's like smoking weed all the time, looking for those other highs, it's just like, if you just can work out consistently, and you don't have to go crazy hard, right? Like if you do like way too intense training, way too intense cardio, you actually can spike cortisol and you can feel exhausted after. But if you just kind of get that right intensity level, you just feel awesome after.
Is that why you're an advocate for the 3-day workout week?
So 3 days is really, I find, the key to maximizing gains as a natural. You can really have a productive workout, get full rest, come back stronger. And I find that sort of the sweet spot. And then if you wanted to get the maximum benefits, you'd probably you'd do 3 days of heavy lifts a week. And then you'd probably do about 2 hours a week of zone 2. So that could be, 30 to 60 minutes, a few times a week.
And just for the listeners, is it 3 days in a row? Are you breaking up those days? Is it 1 day on, 1 day off,
Exactly.
1 day on, 1 day off?
Yeah, it's like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So a day of rest in between. And one of the benefits of having a day of rest in between is your central nervous system, your brain and spinal cord that sends the nerve impulse to recruit muscle fibers, right? Recovers. So if you were to do a really, really heavy, intense leg workout on Monday and then go and smash an upper body PR, your nervous system won't be as fully recharged as if you had a day of rest. So I always found myself that having the day of rest in between, I came back and it was easier for me to hit personal records. And you don't need, people think you have to do like 15, 20 sets a body part to get a productive workout. 3-4 hard sets on a muscle group, that's all she wrote. You've created the stimulus to grow. Now you just need to rest and then come back stronger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, and that's why I loved working out. So like I love working out so much. I played college basketball, and once I put that down, I started getting into the gym, and like I was 150 pounds soaking wet, skinny. I couldn't never put on an ounce of muscle. And then you start to see that and you build that confidence. And I think that's something a lot of men struggle with now because the gym isn't a part of their life. And in that 24 to 28 range, when a lot of these men get out of college, I think a lot of these men are lost. And like, why do you think that is? What is missing? Is it just the gym, or because, you could be cool in high school, you're the man in college, you're getting women, maybe you're the man on the sports team, and then reality hits you, and maybe you get a 9-to-5 job and you don't get girls anymore, and now you're out of shape. Like, why do you think so many men are struggling today?
They stop leveling up. That's the big reason. If you stop leveling up as a man, you sort of kind of drift back into mediocrity, and your life just you just follow the herd. And so for myself, I dropped out of university, but I was very focused on leveling up. Let me improve my strength in the gym. Let me dial in my physique to the highest level I can naturally. Let me work on building my internet brand when I was barely had followers, and let me level up. And so as a man, if you stop leveling up, life kind of goes downhill. And the crazy thing is that a lot of guys that are 24, 28 years old, they kind of see, 22, they see the past as their best years, college as their most freedom. And if you do things right, the peak of a man is actually 38. 38's the real peak of a man, right? That's where you can still be in awesome shape, right? You can be in like pretty much peak shape. You've had 20 years since you're 18 to be able to acquire resources, develop skills to make money. So your ability to acquire resources are much higher. You're way more confident. You're more masculine. You've dealt with women and relationships for 20 years. And so now you can actually handle things. Now you can lead way more effectively. If you talk to most women, right, that go and date 22-year-olds, they can't even decide what restaurant they want to go to. Well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? They're so wish-washy. But as a man, as you get into your 30s and you build your confidence and you learn to lead, you have this masculine frame that is incredibly attractive. And so if you handle things the right way, life gets better and better and better and better into 38. And so like the research shows 38 is the peak for a man. And it stays there till 50. And then it goes down. And funny enough, like a lot of guys think that testosterone drops off at 30. It's actually wrong. If you stay lean, stay strong, right? And do the right steps, you can keep testosterone very high in your 30s. Very high. My testosterone now in my 30s is actually 200 points higher than in my 20s. Wow. I was in the 600s, now I'm in the 800s, right? And that's also using the correct supplements, but it doesn't have to come down. It comes down because you gain body fat, you stop working out, so on and so forth. You don't prioritize sleep. So 38's the peak, but then you can maintain that till 50. Now 50 to 60, that's when you really see the testosterone come down. Mm-hmm. That's why, like I've seen guys that are 45 that have awesome physiques, like awesome natural. But at 60 years old, you can't hold the same amount of muscle at 60 as 40. So that's where that's where a man almost goes through sort of reverse puberty from 50 to 60, where they get that bigger drop in testosterone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
But now you have guys that are 33, 32, 29, thinking they need TRT. Right. No, you do not,
right.
Yeah,
right.
But that's pushed everywhere now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One of the things that I wanted to ask you, because I have done a little bit of research just to hear, you posted something the other day. I think it was about a male's peak is 38, right?
Yeah.
I'm 31. I would love, me personally, and for our listeners, to just get some advice from you from, with the way social media is now, everybody's just posting their wins. Mm-hmm. So if you're not where you want to be in your life, right, and you're 30 years old and you think it's over, right? Little do you know, it didn't even begin yet. What's some advice that you would have to somebody that's maybe just getting out of college, they're 25 years old, they feel like they wasted some time, they feel like they don't have the rest of their life ahead of them, and they don't know that the data shows that you're not going to reach your peak until you're 38. How do you stay on that path while you're just trying to keep up with the Joneses? Whether it's, I just watched two of my best friends just get married and I'm nowhere near ready to get married, so now I think that I'm way behind them, when really I'm just on my own path. What advice would you have for somebody?
Yeah, so the answer is actually very, very simple. The first thing you have to do is you have to get your mind and body right. So most guys where life isn't going well, they're having these vices that hold them back. Whether they're watching porn way too much, right, and sapping motivation. Whether they're drinking every weekend and having a couple days they're waking up a little bit fuzzy and hungover. So you have these things that hold you back. When you're transforming your life, you have to cut the ties with everything that keeps you stuck and in place. And so even when I was 19, I dropped out of university till 24, 25. I don't think I had one day I was hungover from 19, right, till 24. Not one day. I had a couple social drinks on a date here and there, but like alcohol did not hold me back. And so most people have vices like weed, smoking weed every day. It blunts your dopamine system. There's a neurochemistry that allows you to be very, very successful. And too much alcohol, too much weed, too much porn destroys that. There are people that just wake up and they're driven to succeed. I had a massive boost in success when I started fasting. When I would eat first thing in the morning, I'd get that food first thing in the morning, I would be lazier. When I woke up and I fasted, I had a sparkling water and a black coffee, I was laser focused, right? So you have to, first of all, get your sleep right. If you can, cut alcohol to the bare minimum, cut out weed. It blunts your dopamine system like nothing else. Even, my father was very, very, very successful, but he had a very close family member that was kind of the polar opposite. And my father told him, like, why are you smoking this weed all the time? Like, cut it out. It makes you lazy. It makes, and people can kind of hate on that, but it's like, dude, I did weed every night, and it slowly over time, it sucks out your motivation. And it might not happen in a month, but eventually it will happen. And it makes you complacent with your life, right? To actually become successful, you actually have to not be complacent. You kind of have to be a little bit pissed off. You have to, the reason why you change, right, is standards. If you are comfortable with where you are and that's your standard, you're not going to have the motivation to change. But if you're like, this is my standard, I'm not here, right? Like I've had periods where I've been a little bit lazier, not lazier, but I've like been eating a bit more food, and I'm like, at dinner, I'll grab a few more bites, have a little extra dessert, and I'm just slowly, I can see the weight come on, and where in a week I'm up 5, 6, 7 pounds. But it's my standard. It's like, oh shit, we gotta get back on track. It's because my standard is very, very high with my leanness. And so if you remove all these things, you get motivated. Like you get driven. So you have to tap in your neurochemistry. And then secondly, you need to be lean, fit, strong. Like get into the gym, work out, get those wins. Like one of the things that gave me confidence to unlock my goals outside of the gym was setting goals inside the gym. Let me hit a 300-pound bench press. Or at first, maybe it was my body weight, 180-pound bench press, right? And then you set these goals, you achieve them. My father was incredibly, incredibly successful in real estate. And he built, at the time, the biggest privately owned real estate company in Canada. And his passion, and I heard this from an interview, right? His passion was simply setting a goal and looking to realize that goal. That was it. That's what excited him. Setting a goal, looking to realize that goal. And as a kid, he would always tell me, write down your goals, write down your goals, write down your goals. And very few people do this. I do this, right? So if you can dial in, cut out the stuff that's holding you back. And everyone deep down, you know what it is. Cut out the stuff that's holding you back, right? Get in shape, get lean, fit, strong. And it's very, very hard to stop doing something and try and get away from something you don't want. Okay, I don't want to smoke weed. I don't want to. You have to set a goal that excites you. You have to move towards something that motivates you, not just away from something you don't want, right? So like for me, right? Right now I'm taking a break from even just drinking altogether.
So you post that on YouTube the other day.
And I was a casual drinker. If I was going out for dinner, going on a date, socializing, and have 2-3 drinks, and I'm like, you know what? So it's not just I don't want to drink anymore. I'm just like, I want to just go and experience like the most peak mental state I can, just waking up and just having that flawless baseline mood. So I'm chasing something positive, right? If I was just like, I just want to stop drinking, then you just focus more on the drinking and you just kind of get pulled back into it. No, I'm focusing on something better, right? It's like you're imagine you're on one island, you're swimming to the second island, right? It's like you need to focus on that second island, or you're just gonna get halfway and swim back to where you started from. Yeah. So set a positive goal that inspires you. And, the big thing here is like learn to revel in the small little gains. Revel in the small, small gains. And that was sort of the difference between, my father's mindset and then another family member's sort of mindset was one would achieve something small and then be like, I have so much farther to go. We're so far away. My father would, he'd be like, yes, we're getting closer. We made that little bit of progress. We're getting closer. Or, hey, you know what? Everything that could have possibly gone wrong, everything that went wrong, and then some. But guess what? We can only go up now. Mm-hmm. So the mindset is the missing link to becoming successful. There are people that have pretty high IQ that will never break into they have very high IQ that will never break into the top 5%, top 1%. And many times it's a mindset thing that holds them back. And often, one of the biggest benefits of growing up from a successful family, right? It's not that one day maybe you'll inherit money, right? I had, in my 20s, I was all self-made. It's that you are connected to the right mindset oftentimes. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you grow up with a family, right, that is has a sort of a victim mindset or negative or not it's more of a solution oriented mindset. Yeah. Where it's like, hey, you want to get this bike for your birthday? We can't afford this bike. No, let's find a way to do it. Like the solution oriented mindset is important. This is sort of what I found even my father drilled into me. And my father actually came from sort of did not come from a successful family, you know, paid his way through college and dropped out. But he had like such a powerful frame that he was going to be successful. That was his standard. He was going to be a millionaire, you know, at a young age. He was like, I'm going to become a millionaire by 30 or whatever. Back when being a millionaire was like,
Way different
like
than it is
making
now.
30 million.
Yeah.
So that's a hard thing to do. If you're around people that are doubting you, if you're around a family members and a social circle that says it's never going to happen, it's very hard to have a unshakable frame. But if you can do that, like, it's very, very powerful. So for most people, you need to recalibrate your social circle. You need to kind of look at the people that are pulling you down, where you hang out and then you feel shittier about yourself, or you start doubting yourself. You need to hang out with people that are very, very successful. Being around the right mindset is the most underrated thing there is. And you can even just listen to this podcast right now. You are connecting to that mindset. Yep. And so this is a very, very productive thing to do. But you have to also remove the negative forces from your life.
Yeah.
And it's also very, very powerful. The masculine frame is a real thing, where if you have unshakable confidence, unshakable frame, then even those around you that are negative, that tend to doubt you, eventually will fold, and the strongest frame wins.
Yeah.
So if your frame is so strong and people around you kind of doubt you, eventually they're going to be like, fuck, well, he's different, man. He'll probably make it, you know? Yeah. So that strong frame, and even if they still doubt you, they won't challenge the frame. So it's like, as a man, you have to be able to build that ironclad frame. And it's like, and if you bring that into the world, then people want to work with you. They'll feel confidence in you. They'll buy into you. And so it's something very, very important to cultivate. But most people waking up, they put the wrong thoughts into their brain every single day. Oh, dude, I'm never going to become successful. This is hard. This is unfair. Any thoughts like, it shouldn't be this, it shouldn't be this way. This is unfair. These people are lucky. All of these things are a victim mindset. And so all you're doing is you're crystallizing yourself into being a loser. Yeah. You're crystallizing everything into being into being a loser. There's a non-negotiable. Everyone should read the book A New Earth. It's by Eckhart Tolle, author of The Power of Now. But A New Earth actually has like the entire framework on success in it. It teaches you the mindset to success. And one of the powerful things that he says from a universal law standpoint, how the universe rewards success. And one of the quotes he has is that whenever you resent someone else's success, you curtail your own success. In order to attract success, you must welcome it wherever you see it. How many people do you know that when someone else does something really, really good, they get pissed and they're angry, they're upset, and they talk shit? That's why they'll never be successful. I even had we were talking about a friend of ours, right? A friend of ours that you did a podcast with. I remember even when we were hanging out, when he was building his offer and he was, hadn't yet become a multimillionaire. He was trying to crack into that. Every time someone was successful, he would be like, fuck yeah. He'd be like, oh, dude. Oh, like he would want to learn from him. He'd be like, whether it was Jordan Belfort, Tyler, like anyone, he would get he'd be like, damn, let's learn from him. Whereas most people would be like, would talk shit, I was even at a dinner when I was 24 or something. And it was actually fairly successful people, but it was a lot of fitness guys that had fitness businesses. They were at a decent level, but they hadn't broken to the top echelon. And I was at this dinner, and then this was when, you saw the Google ads with Mike Chang was running a bunch of Google ads. And then this guy with a Lamborghini and a phone and bookshelves came on the map and was hitting hundreds of millions of views, right? Tai Lopez, right? So I was at this dinner, and I didn't even know who Tai Lopez was at the time. I'm at this dinner, right? And everyone's just talking shit about this Tai Lopez dude. Oh, this fucking guy in this Lambo. Oh, that guy. They were just talking shit about it, talking shit. And I was like, who is this guy? So after that business dinner, I went home, I Googled it, I watched Tai Lopez's content. I'm like, fuck, this is good shit. I'm like, a lot of people are just filming straight to video, straight to camera video. He's doing a phone selfie. I'm like, it kind of sucks you in. It's kind of creates an intimate style. You know, he's spending so much money on Google ads with this Lamborghini garage video. I wonder why. He's probably making money. That's actually when I went and made my Bruce Wayne video.
Oh, wow.
I made the Bruce Wayne video, and then I told the guy on my team, I'm like, hey, can you figure out Google ads? And then he started figuring out Google ads. I'm like, just run. I was like, just run this Bruce Wayne video. And we did zero targeting. We sent it to everyone. Male, female, 70 years old, 20, zero targeting. And we were doing like a 4-5x ROAS on it. We'd spend 3-4K a day. And those days I was doing 17, 18, 19K a day on just my info products.
Yeah.
Right. So that was because instead of hating on Ty Lopez, I'm like, this guy's actually kind of cool. This is smart. This book a day thing. And I just absorbed his content and I just welcome success. I didn't hate on success.
Yeah. A lot of times we're our own worst enemies, you know, and we don't see the self-sabotaging that we're doing by having that negative victim mindset. And I see it. I mean, even on like smaller scale things, right? Like even when we were kids, there was the kid that, you know, was a star of the basketball team. And then there was the kid on the bench. And like, if you're praying for like someone else's downfall, like that's a time to look in the mirror. Joe Rogan talked about that in comedy, where he was like, he said he caught himself one time where he was like someone was crushing on stage. They were just having a night. And he said he felt himself like, I'm hoping this guy bombs. And then he was like, you are such a bitch for thinking that, for praying that this guy goes up there and bombs because you didn't perform how he is about to perform, you know?
Right.
And it's just such a mindset that I think so many like just weak men have that they neglect it. They just like go in the world with that. And then it transfers into the dating pool too. When you see a guy with a hot girl and you're like, how did he get her? You know? So like, that's also what I want to ask you. Cause I know you have like a lot of good insight on this. Like what would be some advice you would have to a young man that wants to attract a woman? How do you become more attractive? And is it outside of just physical? Because obviously attraction is much more than physical.
Yeah, the physical is a force multiplier. If you're lean, fit, in shape, everything you do is like a 10x. If you're out of shape, it's an uphill battle. So you want to give yourself the strongest weapon. If you're going into battle, you want to have the strongest weapon. So getting into great shape is a force multiplier from every aspect of dating, whether you're on an online dating app and someone has to swipe right, or whether you've gone on a couple dates, now things are heating up. Is the girl physically attracted to you? That's gonna really help. So the physical, being in great shape is huge. Obviously, women really judge how someone dresses. So if you dress well, that's big. And if you look at like the sort of the Hollywood effect, if you look at movie stars, right? Like people we talked about, Daniel Craig, Casino Royale, it's being in shape isn't enough. But when you link being in shape with dressing really, really well, having good body language, having great eye contact, tonality, which every single movie star is trained to have perfect body language, perfect vocal tonality, perfect eye contact, and then they dress well and they create this Hollywood effect where they're also in awesome shape. That's how you separate from the pack. It's not one thing. It's not just being at 9% body fat, right? It's the style, the body language, the eye contact. But as far as a guy that's young, that's in his 20s, that wants to attract a woman, so if you can get in amazing shape, boom, night and day different. Now, most guys, they do many things that kind of hurt them. Now, are we talking about inside a relationship or just getting the first couple dates and connecting?
Yeah, just being able to attract and have that confidence. You know, just like I feel like there's so many guys that are in these like mid-20s, and dating obviously for men and women is totally different. And a guy can go out and he's striking out for months, or he's struck out so much he's even afraid to go approach a woman now. So it's just like, what is it for a man to go and attract a woman and have that type of confidence?
Yeah. So, I mean, dude, I get when I meet these Kino Warriors that follow my programs and do my stuff, I meet them, and many times if they're with their girlfriend, the Kino Warriors get very beautiful women by literally just getting into crazy shape, dressing well. And so that already gives you awesome confidence. If you've mastered your body, if you dress well, that gives you massive confidence. So now you go into a bar, you're in a much better situation. You're in a social gathering, you're in a much better situation. There's that kind of that myth when you grow up. It's like, what's the best opener, the best thing to say to get a girl? It's not like there's a magic words you can say where now you can attract a girl regardless of how you look. Right. It's the whole package. Just the same way, if you're going to be really, really drawn to a woman, there's not some magical thing she can say. Although I will say, I had a girl on Raya. The best line I ever had a girl message me, the best opener I had a girl message me, and it fucking worked. Is she said, "Come home, the kids miss you." And I was like, damn it.
And she got you, huh?
I felt guilty. I'm like, shit, I should come home. And I'm like, all right, we're going out. Yeah, come home already. The kids miss you. It worked. It worked on me. But like, it's usually where guys go wrong with attracting women is it's what they're doing. It's not what to do. It's what not to do. It's just the mistakes they make along the way. Right. So if a guy's really, really into a girl, they want to supplicate to her. They want to show off. They want to prove they're good enough. And as soon as you're proving you're good enough and you're trying hard, now you're already signaled your lower value, right? So when you're overly qualifying yourself to a girl, trying to prove that you're good enough, oh, I do this, I do that, and look how much money I make, and X, Y, and Z. Oh, I know these guys. Oh, I could take you to this best restaurant. As soon as you're qualifying, the girl's already like, oh, you're lower status, right? Guys, many times, they overinvest. They sent, like the Spartans, right? In Sparta, there was a group of warriors in a town called Laconia, and they were known to be the strongest, most powerful Spartans, and they were known to speak very, very little, right? So everything they said had massive weight, but they removed all the fluff. As a man, if you look at some of these actors, the proof is if you look at some of these actors, or even Daniel Craig, Casino Royale, everything he says is very laconic. Yeah. He doesn't speak that much. Mm-hmm. So most guys talk way too much, and it's too try hard, and they say way too many words. And when they message a girl, they text way too much. Like, texting is really just logistics. You're not texting to go and ask her questions about her day and what are you doing and this and that. Like, if you're 19, maybe, but like, texting is pure logistics. Mm-hmm. Want to get dinner? Yeah. Great. 8 p.m. Whatever. It's just the idea is that you're focused on your goals, you're in great shape, and you're busy. You're busy. And then as you create, what is value, right? Value is a byproduct oftentimes of scarcity. So as you're way too available, right? As you shower with way too much attention, your value goes down. You can be a very high status man, right? A very, very high status man. But if you act incongruently, you overinvest, you overgive attention, women cannot help but lose attraction. Mm-hmm. They cannot help but lose attraction. Now you can be someone that's like, well put together, things are going decently well, but you just master this. You don't overinvest. You know when to pull back. You speak laconically, and a woman is pulled in. She's drawn in. And so it's many times it's what not to do. And then guys overthink. Oh, is she into me? Is she not into me? And then they try and get reassurance, and they try and over-message to get to see where they are. And then attraction's gone. There's the most powerful thing you can do is actually sometimes it's do nothing. Mm-hmm. And so that's the challenge. As a guy, you want to fix things. Oh, you know what? I got to work on this. I got to fix things. But with many times in the dating market, at least if you're talking about one girl, many times it's do nothing. Mm-hmm. Wait. It's be in abundance. The world rewards you when you're in abundance, and it punishes you when you're in scarcity. So it's very easy to attract women when you're in abundance, when you have many, many options. And it's very, very hard to attract a woman when you're in scarcity and you're dependent. So the solution is just put yourself in abundance. And, if there was a mindset to have to enter the dating market, it's like you already are dating five Victoria's Secret models. You already have 5. You have 5. everything is okay. You know, if you meet this girl and it's great, cool. If it turns out it's not a connection. So sometimes guys just want it to work out. It's got to work out. I need to get the number. I got to get the date, X, Y, and Z. And it's like, that's not the goal. The goal there is to actually just see if there's a connection. See if maybe maybe you're not even into her. And so the unlock is really that most guys, they see a girl and they're like, damn, she's beautiful. Like, they're so in. And so they deliver themselves subconsciously on a silver platter. Mm-hmm. If you can, and this is powerful advice, I almost do not want to share it. I don't, but if you can just almost always just sort of be like, I'm on the fence about her. I'm on the fence. That's it. If you can just always feel like I'm on the fence, you're never like so sold. You know, she has to earn your attention. Mm-hmm. You don't just take it at face value. Oh, she's amazing. I want her to be my girlfriend. It's like, you know, I'm on the fence about her. We'll see. And she has to feel like she's winning you over. That winning you over is probably it's the thing that a woman needs. Now, we talked about the neurochemistry to become successful, right? So there's a neurochemistry to feel attraction. Attraction requires dopamine. Dopamine is triggered by the chase. And so if there's no chase, there's no attraction. No matter how successful you are, it's boring. And so when you create that feeling of, I'm on the fence about her, you know, we'll see. And she has to kind of qualify a little bit to her. It triggers her attraction. So there's a neurochemistry to attraction. And most guys kill it by showing too much attention too early, right? They over-message. They over-telegraph interest. Whereas, like, if the girl's a silver platter, oh my God, you're so beautiful. And or like, oh, like, you know, what are you doing tomorrow? Let's go here and there. Mm-hmm. The girl is already like, the chase is gone. But if you're on the fence and she kind of feels like you're slightly out of reach, you know, yes, you're direct, you know, you're like, yes, like you're nice and you're making plans and you're firm and like, yes, we're going to go here and you're leading, but you're not just like supplicating. So it's a, and then this is also where, you know, a lot of guys, they go, men tend to either kind of jump on extremes of being way too nice, or they try and go more the asshole route. Mm-hmm. And then like let me just kind of just tease her all the time and like kind of like be too cool for school. And that doesn't work either. Mm-hmm. Right? So like, because many people kind of read some dating books and learned about like negging, and they understood the goal of it. Like everything serves a role. Like in once a girl is like, once you've hit that threshold where she's very attracted to you, she's very, very into you, you don't need to nag and tease her.
You got it already.
You've broken through. Like the nag is almost like is almost something where, and it doesn't have to be a nag. The nag could very well just be like, I'm on the fence about her, you know, and then you just act in alignment with that. But that's sort of to break through that wall where most women are getting so much attention all the time. They're getting hit on nonstop, right? And they have to develop this sort of shield, or it's programmed. And so the neg is kind of like to like kind of say, hey, get off your high horse. I'm not even into you, you know? I'm not like all the other guys that are like so into you. So like you can be a little bit of the push-pull and stuff in the very, very beginning, but then once the girl softens up, you don't do that, right? Yeah. You more so are building comfort, right? And the most powerful technique, really, the most powerful technique in dating, what is it? It's not the words you say, it's touch. It's literally touch. And as far as attraction is concerned, touch creates oxytocin. Women experience and are more sensitive to oxytocin than men because testosterone blunts it. So the feeling of touch as a guy, it feels nice when a girl touches you, but for a woman, it's much more powerful. Touch is the most powerful dating thing there is. I mean, there was a time when humans couldn't even speak language, right? And you'd bond more so through touch. And so in a interaction, when you've built attraction, you know, and you've shown interest, It's just touch. It's just light touch and getting comfortable, right? And that's how humans get closer. And when you do not have touch, right? You just stay, it doesn't matter what you're saying, doesn't matter who you are, you stay in the friend zone. This is also why if you're on a date, it's much better to be sitting at a bar, sitting side by side than sitting across from each other. This is more interview intense style. By the date, it's like, well, first of all, if I'm sitting right here, I'm already giving you all this attention. I'm facing you, right? Giving all, it's intense, right? And I can't touch you, right? But if you're sitting side by side, like your attention is, you have more control of your attention. You're not just facing her directly. You're here. You can kind of talk over the shoulder. You do light touch, but touch is the most powerful dating tactic there is once you've built interest, right? Once you've built interest, she's comfortable. And it's like, and if you look at some of the most charismatic movie stars, right? Look at Chris Hemsworth. The guy's a touchy guy, but he's not just, it's not just like women touchy. It's like even his buddies, right? He's just a physical touchy guy. And so that touch is a lot of the oxytocin, a lot of the connection. And if you're thinking about, if you're looking at dating and if you're looking at dating and like seduction, right? Most of the attraction is actually very, very short. Attraction happens very, very fast, especially if you're in top shape, right? You're not chasing, you're not over telegraphing interest, you're confident. Attraction's short. Most of the game is comfort. It's building comfort. Attraction, right? Plus building comfort. That's when a woman will be comfortable and now things can elevate beyond that. And so comfort, a lot of times it's just touch. It's lead, right? It's, hey, let's go to this place. It's like, them following your lead, you be in the masculine frame, but it's touch.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are listening.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Yeah. And like he said,
but don't be like, okay, like someone's listening. Okay, touch.
Well, that's what I'm
looking at the.
I read something. It's so funny that you said that. Not to cut you off, Z, real quick. I read something the other day that said breaking that physical touch barrier with a woman the first time is so important, but doing it right, whether it's like holding her hand or I didn't know there was science behind it, so I'm listening. Yeah, but it's very, very interesting that you said that, and I read that literally a week ago.
Yeah, and it's even more powerful instead of like touching, like putting your hand on her leg or whatever. It's actually more powerful if she's touching you.
Yeah.
So if she's putting her hand on you, that's way better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but like you said, like build up that attraction first. Like guys, don't just go to the bar and start touching every girl you see.
Touching girls and shit,
Yeah, you have to get that. You have to kind of have that that threshold point. But that's it. It's not some magical lines, and it's not the verbal. It's the verbal isn't what gets you laid. That's what stops you from getting laid. It's the verbal. Say less. Yeah. Especially like once there's a certain level of interest, say less. I mean, if you were to go on a date, right? So you've already gotten a girl she's into you. She's agreed to go on a date. She's already into you. She's getting ready, right? She's, commuting. She's putting her time, right? She's dedicating her time, which is a big deal, right? So for a girl to go on a date, it's a big, big deal. If she's already on a date, she's into you. Most guys on a date, then they're trying to prove themselves more. They're just talking themselves out. You don't have to do that much, right? You don't have to do that much. And some of the biggest mistakes that guys make, especially if we're talking about on that date, is they think the date is their interview where they have to prove themselves. And oftentimes guys will talk way too much about themselves. And then a woman is at the end of it, it's like, well, he didn't really ask me. He doesn't know that much about me. Why is he even into me? We just talked about him the whole time. And the more you talk about yourself, you're investing more. The person that's talking is investing. And so now you overinvested. She's not invested. And now she's less inclined to take things to the next level, go on another date, X, Y, and Z. And so it's much more powerful to actually learn more about her. Say less. Have a little bit of mystery. You can for sure reciprocate and tell her about you, but just try and push it more where she's doing more of the talking. You're learning more about her. And then when she opens up and you learn, oh, wow, this is an amazing person. Look at, she feels like she's, what we talked about earlier, right? The woman needs to feel like she's winning you over. She feels like she's winning you over. If you're talking the whole time, which a lot of guys do, especially when they're so excited, oh my God, she's so beautiful. They do all that. So if she feels like she's winning you over, it's way more powerful. But sit side by side. You know, when you've hit that point of mutual attraction, touch. Yeah. And even if you do a business deal, right? Like people do Zoom meetings and stuff. Like if you're doing a business deal, as soon as you shake hands, the ability to actually form a connection and actually move things forward is stronger. There's a reason why, like, you know, people at the highest level, right? They fly around. They do in-person meetings. You need that touch. It builds connection. It builds trust. Whether it's business, man to man, right? Whether it's dating, it's like touch is massive and it feels good, right? Like there's a known thing. I think a lot of guys can even relate to this. Like sometimes, like you're not sleeping well. If you're like cuddling with a girl or if she's just touching you, it's like you sleep so much better. It's like it helps. It lowers your cortisol, right? It increases oxytocin. You feel more relaxed. And so like touch, it's a real thing. You need touch to feel good.
Yeah. Do you think that scarcity mindset we were talking about, do you think that's why a lot of men settle in relationships or settle with a partner?
I mean, I've seen guys and I've talked to them that like are in a negative relationship and the partner is not good for them and things are toxic and they stay in, right? They stay in. And yeah, it's standards, right? Like if someone is really treating you badly and really, really undermining your confidence and saying, being harsh, like that's not good they're doing that, but after a certain period of time, it's your fault. You choose who's in your life, right? You choose like who you invest your time and energy into. And if someone's doing those things, then, and you stay in it, then that's your fault. And so like, it blows my mind that some guys just kind of stay in that situation and it's normal. I mean, everyone pushes boundaries, everyone pushes buttons. It's like, you know, I'm sure every guy also probably has pushed a girl's buttons. Like it's part of, you know, even women, they're naturally trying to find where's your boundary and they feel safe and secure once they found your boundary. So women are trying to push and figure out, okay, where is this guy's boundaries? And, you know, if someone crosses your boundaries, you don't get emotional. You don't get all crazy upset. You just are completely logical and just say, hey, look, this is not going to work if this is how you're going to talk to me. I'm not going to tolerate this. If you want to talk to someone like that, go date someone else. This is not here. Yeah. One hard, strong frame, done. Like solved. You know, if a girl's teasing you about an insecurity and you're just not comfortable with that, then you just say it without emotion, without getting angry. Just say, hey, no, you're not going to say that. You're not going to say that.
More attracted to you after that.
Yeah. And then you set the frame. Now, if the girl has got some serious issues and she continues to do it, then you remove attention. You remove attention, just right?
Simple as that.
Yeah. Or you can end things, right? Or you can go and take space. Because sometimes people only really learn from attention, right? Men, women, right? Sometimes we only really learn from attention. And so if someone says, hey, don't do that, and they continue to hang out with you, take you out for dinner, treat you nice, then it's not as powerful as say, don't do that, and then remove attention. We learn through wielding attention. So it's very easy. There's sort of two elements. Like one, if you're gonna have a girlfriend, you want to pick someone with a really good head on their shoulders, a good heart, so on and so forth. But the same woman could treat one guy amazing and one guy shitty. And it's all about frame, right? And it's not being emotional. It's not getting angry. It's not being reactive. It's actually being completely unreactive and just matter of fact. Yeah. You know, guys are too emotional. It's just logic, right? And people are gonna respond so much better to you if you just say things matter of factly than with that reactive force, because then it triggers their reaction, right? So just completely pure, and the less words. Again, we talked about laconic. The less words you say, the better. Like you don't need to go in some whole monologue. Oh man, like, you know, don't talk to me like this. This goes back to my childhood when this happened. Like knock it off with that stuff. Some guys try and always bring things back to their childhood. I've talked to different guys that are like, they just go way too deep, man. Life's just keep your words short. Yeah. Just keep it short. Yeah.
Don't send those paragraphs. All right. She ain't reading the whole paragraph. It's just not going to happen. And something that I've noticed, and it's so funny that you said that, the less you say, the more your words mean. Right. And I've noticed that a lot throughout life, not even just with women, with friends, with business, whatever the case may be. The less you give on, the more when you do give on, it means more. Right. And I think that's so important.
Yeah. The only person I know that can break this rule and still crush it is like Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn, if you're Vince Vaughn, you can just say whatever you want. He's that charismatic and just, Vince Vaughn can just fucking throw it out. But most of the strong, attractive, masculine role models speak less. And in Robert Greene had a book, 48 Laws of Power. In that book, one of the most powerful things is speaking less. That's a sign of emotional control.
And something that I probably get 50 messages a day about heartbreak. And I think it's kind of like what you said earlier about if you're in something toxic and you don't leave or you put up with it, it's your fault. And so many of these questions that we get is like, maybe it's coming from a girl. And she's like, he cheated on me. He talks poorly to me. He treats me bad. I don't like his friends. He lies. But I love him. What do I do? Or guys, like she's vice versa, So like
heartbreak is the easiest thing for a man. It's the simplest thing. And I've been heartbroken and I know the pain, and it is in the moment, it is like nothing else, but it's the easiest thing because as a man, if you work on yourself, your value goes up. So if you're a 24-year-old that just had your heart broken, your value is actually relatively low. It's only going to go up. Your value is only going to go up if you work on yourself. And that motivation of getting broken up with is the most powerful if you can wield it correctly. If you go through a bad breakup and then all of a sudden you're going and you're drinking and you're going, like, that will bring you down, right? So you can spiral down, you can spiral up. And so if you use it productively to raise your value, you'll spiral up. Now, we also earlier talked about you can't run away from something. You have to move towards something better. So the simplest reframe for a breakup, for a guy that's going through a breakup, is to set the bar higher. Okay? So you lost this girl that you're so in love with. If you look at it objectively, whenever something is pulled away, the mind and the nervous system like crashes and your mind flips on only positives. You only see the positives of this girl. Once it's pulled away, your perception just sees positives, what you lost. And you no longer see positive, negative. And so in any sort of breakup, if you look at things objectively, there are positives and negatives. Now, whenever you remove the negatives, that freaking creates that crazy, I'll never get better. This was the one, right? And so you have to look at things, you have to look at the positive and negative. You have to create a balance of it, okay? There were things in that relationship that were not good. There were downsides, there were upsides, okay? Now, when you set a higher goal, okay, you know what? Let me look at it. What was not good about that relationship? Okay, it was X, Y, and Z. What is a higher level for me to achieve? I actually want a girl that's more aligned with my vision. I want a girl that I have a deeper connection to. I want a girl that actually is doing X, Y, and Z or support. So set a higher goal, personality-wise, right? Vision, and you could also say more beautiful, a more attractive, more awesome, great girl. Set the higher goal. And you'll feel it's crazy what that does. Yeah, it's crazy. Just set a higher goal, and then you feel a lot better. And yes, you're not going to be able to achieve that overnight. No. It might take you some serious time, but now you're working towards something better. It's very, very hard to accept feeling like you lost the most, like your best option. It sucks to feel like you lost your best option. So once you do that reframe and be like, you know what, let's get an even better option, but we're gonna have to work for it. Then so much of that pain is gone. And yes, like naturally, like the first 3 weeks are the hardest. So just get through the first 3 weeks, delete, like don't look at them, block if you need to, or hide. Do not look at them. Do not look at them. Your attention's so powerful. So the more you're thinking about her, the more you're building in those neural connections. Just do not think about her, like at all. Wield your attention. Do not think about her. Move on. Focus on your goals. Set the bar higher. Set the bar higher. Set the bar higher. And then honestly, if a guy does all these things, the girl always comes back. Always. the ex-girlfriend, if you're actually improving your value, your move attention, you're unaffected, you're stoic, the ex-girlfriend always comes back. Always.
I feel like he's talking to me.
Yeah. but you know, but then at the same time, you have to decide, okay, is this worth going back to?
Yeah.
And then sometimes guys, like as soon as they get like a message from the ex-girlfriend, they're so excited, and then they overdo it, and then they lose it. Like you have to, again, it comes back to, I'm on the fence, you know, I'm on the fence. And so, yeah, I mean, I had this experience many times in my life, right? Where the relationship broke up, and then boom, you move forward, you work on your goals, you level up, you remove attention. And then, especially if the girl broke up with you, then there's different reasons why women will tend to break up with a guy. But like if she broke up with you because she was losing attraction or whatever like that, and you do those things, they will always come back.
Is there a science behind the 3-week thing that you just said? The first 3 weeks are the hardest? Because I feel like I stretched my 3 weeks out so long by going on her page, looking at the old videos, looking at the old photos. I know that wasn't what I was supposed to do. And mentally, obviously, you're just really setting yourself back. But if you do what you're supposed to do, which is cut that contact, block, hide, whatever, is there a science behind that 3 weeks, or is that just...
Yeah, there's a little bit of a science behind it, but it's just like sort of your habits. Like 21 days is a good time to like set a habit. And so if you're talking to a girl every day, you're seeing her all the time, and then you feel it. It's like, wow,
it's like a drug
your world just changes overnight. Now, after 21 days of not talking to her, not seeing her, it just feels a bit more normal. So it feels more normal. And then everything you lost regains. So all the time, energy you put into her, it shows up in some other form. Maybe you're spending time with a really good buddy of yours now. Maybe you're seeing your family more. So energy cannot be destroyed. It only changes form. So everything you lost in that relationship gets rebalanced somewhere else. And so the big thing is, one, don't put your attention to an ex-girlfriend that only brings you down. Two, set a higher goal for yourself. Set a more empowered relationship in the future. Now, I'm not saying you should go and get into a relationship right away, right? But go meet some new women, right? And like some guys, if some guys like they get so attached, like this was the one. Open the mind, meet some new women, like go experiment with different types, right? And when you're ready to, and then just then when you're ready for that relationship, you know, set the goal even higher, and then you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So you have to do the work on yourself, build yourself up before you can really attract what you want. You have to become that person. So and like we talked about with the peak age of 38, I mean, some guys do feel this insane pressure where they have to, I got to get married at a certain age. I got to, you know, get the girlfriend at a certain age. And that's great. Like if you want to get married at 25 or 29 or 30, or you have a certain vision for yourself, like by all means go and do it. But there's different frameworks. And, you know, for me, I've always been more inclined to enjoying my 30s, being, you know, not locking in at 33, and, you know, at late 30s, 38, 39, 40, finding the
Well, I saw you talk about it's like the Matthew McConaughey thing, or the other two. I forgot who you said, but
it's you know, Matthew McConaughey, Sylvester Stallone, and Jason Statham. I think they all were pretty free in their early mid 30s, and then boom, like 38, like 38, like clockwork, they met their life partner. Yeah. Right. So I've always found that that style has always been what has interested me the most, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a positive for men.
And I think I could be a way better life partner to a woman when I'm like in my mid-late 30s than I could have been at 29, for sure. Night and day.
She's going to get a better version of me later anyway, whoever that happens to be later, because I have more of a stronger foundation. And a stronger
more experience, right? Everything.
Everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, you brought up your father a lot on this episode, and just like what he has taught you. And, you know, I know that you lost him at 11 years old. I lost my mom at 12.
Yeah.
So I relate to you on a totally, you know, I get it, you know, how hard it is. What did your dad mean to you? And how, like, what advice would you give? Because I get so many kids that reach out to me. Like, what advice would you give to a kid or even an adult that loses a parent, and like how to grieve?
Yeah. So I mean, my father 11. My father was someone that I looked up to as like a hero, right? And just incredibly like driven, incredibly successful. Like I saw him in just like I was in awe, right? This like everything he did, right? Everything he set his mind to, he achieved, right? And he built an amazing, built a massive real estate empire, was just crushing at life. And I just felt like I was on the winning ship, you know, as a kid. I was like, you know, like my dad's Michael Gallagher. I'm on the winning ship. I don't care who I meet. We're on the fucking winning ship. I just felt that anywhere I went, I was very proud of my father. And I could feel it. It's just like, and so, yeah, losing him was you know, that was extremely hard because he kind of brought that sense of strength, security, everything's gonna be okay. And then also I was like, I'm 11 years old. That's young. Like I was excited to be 19 and 20 and work with him and learn from him and like 11 is young, right? So I it was almost just like it was just almost like internalizing sort of the mindsets, right? Not so it was like, wow, I'm losing this really powerful role model. And you know, for someone listening that's lost a parent at a young age, which is different. It's different losing a parent at 11 or 12 or 13 or 7 than losing someone when you're 25 or 35, 45. It's very different. One is obviously, both are heartbreaking. One feels like your entire world is crumbling around you. Okay. If you're 35 and you lose a parent, it is heartbreaking. Okay. But you're not living, right? You're not like, they're not your caregiver. So it feels like your entire world is crumbling all around you. And it's hard. And so, you know, it's good to feel, let yourself feel it, connect with your family, like have those therapeutic tears. It's good. Like feel it, like let it out, release it. And the real highest level is to get to a point where you're so appreciative with the time that you had with that family member. Yeah. If you can get to a point where you just appreciate the time, and you're grateful for the time you had with them, then a lot of the like deep sadness and pain washes away. You're like, I really, really appreciate the time I had with someone, which is very hard to do because a lot of people are like, it shouldn't have been this, it shouldn't have been that, this isn't fair. That is a horrible loop to put yourself in that will only cause you more and more pain, which I see a lot of people do that. It shouldn't have happened, this and that. It's a terrible loop. And you can always do a reframe. I mean, I could be like, okay, I lost my father at 11, okay? I have 3 brothers, a sister, a mother, cousins, uncles, aunts, uncles. Okay, imagine we're all on a plane, but I didn't go. There was actually a family trip where every single person in my family went to Africa and I didn't go. I was in Toronto focusing on my business. Everyone went to Africa. Imagine that plane crash, lost everyone, right? That's way worse, right? So it's like things can, like you can reframe it. And you just have to look at the glass half full. So what do I mean by that? I mean, like, it's so hard to lose someone, but get to the point where you can appreciate the time you have with them, but then also look over here and appreciate what you have right in front of you. Mm-hmm. Because when you're so hurt and sad about losing someone, you stop appreciating what's right in front of you. So appreciate what you have right in front of you. And that's life. People fucking die, dude. Yeah. Like, that is life. Life is finite. People die. I've even had another close family member pass away, even just, a handful of months ago. It's like life is so finite and precious. This is what life is. people are going to die. That's life. And that's also at the same time what makes life precious. Right? So
it's a great perspective, bro.
Yeah. There was something even in, I don't know if it was in Troy or in like Greek mythology, but it was like it was what Achilles said about how the gods actually are jealous or like respect, you know, the warriors, right? Because to them, life is precious. Life is valuable. Life is meaning. For the gods, it's just endless, right? So life's finite. Life is finite, and you just got to appreciate what's right in front of you, and even just appreciate the day. And it's hard because you know, you go through life and you completely forget about like the reality of life. You completely forget about it. When you lose a family member, it just makes you realize how precious things are and how much you really need to like enjoy the present moment. And even just like talking about the victim mentality, the positive mindset, like, you know, life's so precious, man. So just like make life great, like make life good. Like I believe, you know, some people are like, oh, life's brutal, and you know, life is a struggle and life is hard, and like, yeah, if you tell yourself that, it will be, and certain times it will, but like put the most productive thought into your mind, like life is fucking awesome, man. And yeah, and then you start to enjoy, you like learn to enjoy the hard work and the stuff. And then when you lose, you know, one of the worst things that happen to you is lose the loved one. When you lose the loved one, get to the point where you just appreciate how much time you have with them and the great memories, honor them and appreciate what's right in front of you. And life can really be beautiful and awesome. If you know, really, life can be really beautiful and awesome if you attack it, you know, the right way.
Yeah. And like, it made me grow up so fast, and I'm sure you can relate, where like you know, at 11, 12 years old, you're going to school, kids are stressed out about math homework. We had to go home and be like, mom and dad isn't here anymore. And I think when you lose a
Your
parent,
mom and dad.
well, I'm saying for you,
right,
dad,
right,
I'm
right.
saying for both of us. Yeah. My dad's still here,
Okay.
thankfully. Right. And, bro, like you learn so much, and it forced you to grow up. Cause like I had to go home, and like my dad lost his best friend, you know, like that was his partner. I've almost felt more bad for him than I did for myself, because we don't get to choose our parents. He chose, out of all the women in the world, he chose her. Just like, you know, like your parents, like, and that was probably
the hardest, or one of the hardest parts was really seeing my mom completely just, you know, heartbroken, but also just like 5 freaking kids on her own now. Just like the stress and stuff, just seeing her in pain was like equally hard as the pain I was dealing with.
Are you the oldest?
Second oldest.
So in a way, you were like the man of the house. You and your oldest brother, you took on that responsibility. How did that feel? And did you get closer with your mother, or were you always really close to her? Did you get closer after?
I was very, very close with her as a young kid. But yeah, I mean, 11, you know, it was just, you know, I couldn't really say with a straight face that I was really, you know, taking on the man of the house. I was just so young, and it's just like, it just kind of was like, we were a little bit more on our own. Yeah. A little bit more on our own. And then the man of the house thing was more like, okay, I'm going to have to learn how to really become successful later in life. And yes. And it was just, the burden was really on my mother. 5 young kids. I was 11, but then we had my youngest brother was, I don't know, 3 or something. So just like the burden on my mom was really, really huge, the emotional burden. And like, you know, I have nieces and nephews, right? Like a kid is so hard. It's so much. So, you know, yeah, it was just a massive, you know, burden. And it's just, yeah, it's, you know, it's much easier having 2 parents. Even if you had a father that was away on business 9 months of the year, it's just like there's some difference, there's some shift, right? So even if my father was working a ton and he was working a lot, but it's just like that, it's just like this crazy shift that happens.
Yeah. How do you think you handled it when you were 11? Because we're so young, and like at that point we don't even know what life really means. We just know that like they're not here anymore and death is real, and you see everyone around you sad, but like, and like obviously you're upset, but at that point, like I was forced, like they tried to force me into therapy. I'm getting brought to guidance counselors. People are treating me different now. Like it was this weird experience that you don't even really know what to handle, but it shut me off to like the world. I didn't want to talk to anyone about it. I refused therapy. I didn't want to be open to anyone. It really made me, one, have like attachment issues with people that I love. And then it also shied me away from getting close to people because I was afraid to lose them, because I know what loss feels like. So what was that sense of loss for you at 11 years old, and how did it change you?
I mean, the pain I felt was really like hard to put into words, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't really imagine feeling that way again. So that was very, very hard. And I would just have these, I didn't do any therapy or any stuff like that. I got really close with one of my cousins because for whatever reason, it was easier for me to connect and talk to my cousin than siblings for whatever reason, just you're so close with them. But I just remember having these little moments, and I'd go into my family library, and which I had a connection to my father there, and sometimes I'd just like have a little conversation, like I just pretend like I was talking to my father, updating him, and just like having a connection there. But I didn't do any sort of therapy, and I didn't like have any sort of process. But just I worked out, like life went on, and I just tried to like be like, just try and see that my mom was like being happy and stuff, or like not being happy, but I was trying to like make sure my mom was like,
She's doing
okay,
all right.
doing
she was
okay,
good, yeah.
and then I didn't really, I just kind of, I didn't really just do anything specific. It just, life went on, and although when I was 18, so many years later, we did get some family therapists, and she was really beautiful. So I was like kind of into it. We had this beautiful therapist. She only came once. I was kind of upset. I was like, I was enjoying that,
Yeah.
It's a beautiful therapist. Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I struggle with that being, I'm 28 right now. And I wonder how this affected you. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
Like vividly?
Yeah.
That's the one thing like that. It's almost like it was like two different lives for me. Like it's like I lived from 0 to 12 with mom, and then after that, it's all kind of a blur. I really just remember the 6 months of her going through cancer and like watching her die. That's like the last memory I have of her. But the good times that I had with her, yeah. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think I had like a low key. I think might have been drinking. I low key had a bit of that conversation with my younger brothers, who are 5 and 7 years younger. So then they would have been like 6 and 4, and that's tough because that's how they kind of felt. Where like it was kind of a shitty to not really have had those deep memories formed. But I had the memories formed pretty intensely because. When I was a kid, I mean, my father was working a lot, right? Yeah. He was working a lot, and but every moment I spent with him was that important to me.
Valuable.
It was that valuable. So I have distinct, powerful memories with my father. And, so one thing I was kind of really fucking pissed about is that like the last summer of my father, I went to this summer camp for a month. And so my whole family, my father, my brothers, siblings, cousins, they were all at the cottage for a month. So I was at the summer camp, and I really did not like summer camp. Like I was a little shy kid. I was so fucking homesick. I was like 10 or something years old, and I was so homesick. I just want to be with my family. And my mother was just like, let's bring him back. Let's pick him up. Because I just wanted, and I didn't even know my father was sick, to be honest. I just wanted to be with my family. And and then I think my father was like, no, he made the decision to go to summer camp. He's got to stick to it, right? He's got to follow through on that. And, I understand the value of that lesson, but it was kind of like, fuck, like that entire month, I didn't get to spend that last August summer, right? Because then you're in school and stuff. And then my father was in Houston or whatever doing treatments. And so that was really, really hard. But I do have one fond memory of like the one visitor day that month where my father got his brand new Porsche 911 Turbo. He drove up, and just me and him went for like a drive through like the Canadian country roads with my cousin in the back, and blasted like music like Tom Petty, Free Fallin', and American Girl. And we're just driving, and I felt this, and we talked about touch, right? I had my hand on the center console, and we're driving fast, and like he, you know, kind of grabbed my hand, and I just felt this incredible like electric charge, this huge power. And so I have these very, very powerful memories, and I have these points when I was playing hockey as a kid, and I'd play hockey in Toronto, and you know, he couldn't come to all my games, right? But when he came to the game, I'd like look up, and right before they dropped the puck, I'd look up and I'd feel his eye contact. And I'd get this massive energy surge. And it's a real thing. Testosterone is higher testosterone is actually linked to stronger, more intense eye contact.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so even if a guy has higher testosterone, we talked about attractive, it's verbal is not that important. Body language, right? Being in shape, dressing well, but like body language, eye contact, right? Mm-hmm. The higher testosterone is, the more powerful your eye contact it becomes. So, but I have these very distinct, powerful, laconic moments with my father that are like imprinted on me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. And I do remember a couple moments when I was upset about something, whether it was anything, right? School, whatever, hockey, and I just would call my father and always be like, solution. It's always solution. We're going to fix this. We'll get this, you know? I was a little bit autistic as a kid, to be honest with you. I was a little bit I was low level on the spectrum, and I was very sensitive to touch. And like, I had we had these underwear that I got, and they were so itchy. I couldn't stand these underwear, right? These fucking underwear. It was the bane of my existence at 9 years old, was these fucking itchy underwear. And I called my father. I'm like, you know, Mom bought these underwear. I can't wear it. He's like, Gregory, don't worry. I'm going to come back to Toronto. We're going to take you to the best underwear store. We'll get you the best underwear, the softest underwear. And we never went and got the underwear. But after that, I just felt good. I'm like, okay, it's fine. Right. And so like, it was just very problem. It wasn't like, dude, relax. It's just a pair of underwear. It's like, no, we're going to get the fucking finest Pima cotton underwear. And, you know, so I had these very powerful moments. And it was all just about setting a goal, realizing a goal, having a problem, finding a solution. And that's just like, if you can just put that into your mind all the time, life will get good, and you'll start to get momentum.
Yeah. If your dad was here right now and you could say one last thing to him, what would you tell him?
Just, I love you. Yeah. You know, just, I love you.
Yeah. That was the same. I got asked that question. I said the same exact thing.
And I, you know, and all those moments we spent together were incredibly meaningful, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, man.
So I have one question that I want to ask you, because you said before, correct me if I'm wrong, that your father dropped out of college, and then you also said you dropped out of college. I would love to know, because I dropped out of college too, and I know the listeners, there's plenty of listeners who just, university wasn't really for them. I would just love to know the mindset behind that.
My father just wanted to make money. He was hungry. And this is what he told me when I was playing hockey. He was like, you got to be hungry for the puck. You want to be the kid that wants it more than anyone. Be hungry. That was all he cared about. Be hungry for the puck, right? So my father just was, I think he was even like had like a semester left. I think he was already in 4th year and he was almost finished. And but he's looking at his professor. And I guess my father just had a natural, like, he was very intelligent, but he was an athlete. But he had like a natural acumen just for business, for people. Mm-hmm. And he just looked at this professor and he's like, I should be teaching this professor. He's like, why am I here? Mm-hmm. Like, what am I doing here? Mm-hmm. And so he just wanted to go out there and make money. And, you know, this first real time he made money, he was young, and he convinced some guy to sell computers. And he just had this confidence where people just wanted to give him a shot. And he made some deal selling computers. But hey, you know what? Like, commission only, but if I sell this many computers, I want this commission. They agreed on it. And he fucking knocked it out of the park. Sold a shit ton of computers direct to hospitals, which had never been done at that company. And then the guy screwed him over the commission. And so he was, you know, so So then he had to go through the legal process, and but by that time, eventually when you get paid, it kind of sucks because all that time, energy, right? And but then he just wanted to go and work, and then he went to some real estate company, was completely unqualified, and he had this it was like Lindorf, this German mega company that had like a real estate conglomerate or whatever. And you know, I think he got into this interview somehow, and this German guy was just like looking at his resume and being like, why are you here? Why are you like, there was nothing there that he should be here, right? And he walked out and he got the job because he had that much confidence. Real estate, I can learn, but what you can't teach is what I have. The passion, the determination, the will to succeed. And that's there was a video with Sam Altman, right? What's the most important ingredient for success? Sam Altman, the creator of ChatGPT. Determined. 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 He's seen a lot of companies that should have been mega successful, but they weren't determined.
Is that how you felt when you dropped out of college? You're like, I don't even need to be here.
I was hyper determined. Yeah, I was hyper determined. Hyper determined. And I was like willing to, you know, I loved what I did. I was loving it. And I was a video game, and I, you know, whether I was making, there was no rush to make 6 figures, right? There was no rush to make, you know, a 6-figure income, which was
Were you already in the fitness space when you went into college and dropped out of college?
I wasn't, but I was like so immersed in the online world of fitness and reading and following different people. And I was so immersed in that world. And I was already going and doing like fitness shoots and stuff like that. And like some, you know, little personal training, some random people. But I was so determined, and it's like, you know, if you're going to become successful, you can't be too hyper, like you can't worry too much about money right away. The money often comes later, right? Yeah. So I wasn't like my goal when I dropped out of university was literally, I just want to make $100K a year by the time my peers graduate university and are looking for jobs, right? So that was my goal. And then, so I had 4 years. I had 4 years to basically break 10K a month. And so that was like if sometimes people just want things too fast in this day and age, and they want to hit 10K a month in 3 months, right? So I gave myself 4 years, and it took me 4 years, right? And then I said, okay, now I'm 21, 22. Now at 25, I want to hit $1 million. And that one, I got really like locked in, and I hit that a year early. I hit that a year early at 24. And I wrote down those goals, pen to paper. And I know I hit it a year early because I forgot I even sent the goal. And then I found a little book in my room. I'm like, $1 million at 25. I'm like, well, I hit that and I'm 24. So hell yeah. So write down goals.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Before we finish up, I want you to talk about your supplement company a little bit too. And just talk about that and Mojo, and what do you like? One, why did you create this supplement company? And two, for our listeners and even for me, like what supplements should we be taking?
Great. So I created it first when I was like 27. I had a business partner at the time, and he was like, so, you know, why haven't you done supplements, or like, why haven't you been promoting supplements? I'm like, well, a lot of the supplements that are out there, I don't really want to take, you know, the pre-workouts with artificial ingredients, way too much caffeine, X, Y, and Z. He was like, well, what if we just create exactly what you want? Would you want to do that? I'm like, well, yeah. He's like, well, what do you want in a pre-workout? I'm like, well, I want X, Y, and Z, naturally sweetened with stevia, 6,000 milligrams L-citrulline, not too much caffeine, 150 with the L. So he's like, let's do it. I'm like, we can do it. It's like, so boom, we found the manufacturer, we did it. And then we got the samples, and I was like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. And we're driving. I was like, I had rented a Lambo in LA, and he's like, what do we call this? And I'm like, thinking, and for me, I'm big on names. Like, I like having a name that I like. And I'm like, we're driving this Lambo, like Octane, Kino Octane. So then we created Kino Octane, right? And that's been a massive hit. It's an amazing pre-workout that you don't get the jitters and the crash and the itchiness. It's just clean, smooth, elevated pre-workout, which is awesome. And then, you know, many years later, I was kind of seeing like there's this real thing where testosterone levels are lower. Most guys are low, and I have had a lot of clients who are doing my programs and coaching, and sometimes they would do blood work and I'd be able to see. And like, I'd noticed this link where guys for sure that had lower testosterone, especially lower free testosterone, their transformations would take a little bit longer. And then the guys that just had like 18 nanograms per deciliter free T, things would happen faster. And then I started kind of looking, can this really be improved? And I mean, at the time, like most people thought that if you already have normal healthy testosterone, you can't really move it much, right? That was the common scientific consensus. And then I started doing some more research, and there were some other prominent figures saying, no, you can bump it up 200 points. And then so I started testing out, the basic minerals for testosterone: zinc, magnesium, boron, vitamin-wise, vitamin D3 is very, very important. But then the herbs, Tongata Lee, for example, and it's powerful, man. And I get crazy before and afters, people using it, before and afters, testosterone up 200 points, 300 points. And even myself, I experienced like a 250 point increase. Wow. That with my everything else identical, training, sleep, everything identical, just a supplement, 250 point increase, right? So one of the benefits is, if your levels are low and you get them higher and you improve your free T, you can support a better body composition, more muscle, less fat, right? So a lot of times if a guy's skinny fat, that's already a sign they have lower testosterone, because their body composition, they have lower muscle, more fat, right? But one of the most exciting benefits of improving testosterone is libido. You get a higher libido. So sex is more fun. You get higher sex drive. That is fun, right? But libido is linked with ambition. So when you increase your libido, you actually set the stage for greater ambition, greater drive as a man. And so your libido is linked to ambition. So if someone has low ambition, they're not hungry for the puck. If you look under the hood, you'll often see their testosterone is low. You get your testosterone up and you want success. And increasing testosterone increases status-seeking behavior. You're more willing to take risk to improve your status as a male. So testosterone is the physical benefits in the gym are really just the icing on the cake. The real benefit is it's a biological imprint on you. It has a real biological imprint in increasing risk tolerance. If you go through a big loss financially, testosterone helps you bounce back faster. It helps you bounce back faster, which is huge, right? So it drives you hormonally in a very, very productive way, increasing your testosterone levels naturally from the average now 400 or 500 up to 600 plus. That's great, right? That's really, really good. So if you can get yourself, over that 550, sometimes I do blood works with different companies, and one of them really, to have testosterone optimized, you want to be at least above 550. But then you really want your free testosterone at least above 10. And that's setting the bar pretty low. But like, if you're below that, you're not optimized.
Yeah. And what would you say for the everyday male right now, anywhere between 25 and 35 years old, he's trying to get it physically fit, he's trying to get his physique right, what would be the right supplement stack if you had to pick like the 5 best supplements?
Yeah. So, I love increasing testosterone naturally, especially because now guys are 40% lower than their grandfathers were at their exact same age. And then you get that elevated drive, ambition. And so I've had guys that as soon as they start taking Mojo, they're more into hitting the gym because testosterone makes effort feel good. So I take Mojo, right? If you want to maximize strength, muscle, power, creatine, absolutely. Creatine is very, very effective. If you enjoy getting that pre-workout boost and that helps you train and you want to get improved, recovery, performance, work capacity, then taking like a pre-workout can be great. You don't need to, but it does make kind of training more fun, more awesome, right? One other benefit for guys that are having sex is a blood flow supplement, which is pretty under talked about. But there's ingredients like pine bark extract, which is very effective. There's research on it improving, eliminating mild to moderate ED. Wow. In 92.5% of people that have mild to moderate ED, pine bark extract. So we have a little nitro supplement with pine bark, grapeseed extract, black ginger extract, which is a natural PDE5 inhibitor, works just like Cialis, Viagra. So it's like a natural version of that stuff with the B vitamins that a lot of people are deficient in. So the blood flow is awesome, and you experience it. You see the benefits right away. And also blood flow is also the fountain of youth. To like have for amazing skin, great energy, mood, cognition, like it all depends on immune function. It all depends on healthy blood flow. And if you have restricted blood flow, right, and even drinking too much, right, drinking too much, overeating, smoking, a lot of these other factors can constrict, right, constrict your blood vessels. And excessive drinking can damage your blood vessels, right? Nicotine is a vasoconstrictor. So good, healthy blood flow is very, very powerful. I like collagen, right? Especially, I take it every day. If you're lifting heavy weights, you need to have strong tendons. So collagen is helpful in giving your body the raw ingredients to remodel tendons. But to maximize that, you actually need to stack collagen with 50 milligrams, right, of vitamin C. So vitamin C is imperative in collagen synthesis. So what I do is I have my collagen, I mix it with Greek yogurt for like a rich protein meal to break my fast. And then I'll add some like sliced strawberries. So like a cup of strawberries, boom, you hit at least 50 milligrams of vitamin C. So I like collagen. It's also good for your skin. And as after 30, your collagen production goes down. But the vitamin C with collagen is really key to like really maximize results with collagen. But and the vitamin D, well, we have the vitamin D3 in the Mojo, but vitamin D is very important. If you do not eat salmon or fatty fish 2 times a week, omega-3s are like a vital nutrient for brain function. Wow. So omega-3s, most people, if you're not eating fish a couple times a week, you probably should be taking a high quality omega-3 supplement. It's just like, it's literally a required nutrient. And it's, if you have depression, right? Omega-3 status improves that, right? And magnesium is like one of the biggest deficiencies that we see is magnesium. Magnesium is also important in testosterone and Mojo, but like a good chunk of people are low in magnesium or downright deficient. But those are pretty much like some very, very powerful keys. If you're eating enough protein, you don't need necessarily to take additional protein supplements. But if I'm training fasted, I like using essential amino acids for fasted workouts. Prevents protein breakdown, kickstarts protein synthesis. And then, I mean, there's some other cool stuff that I'm playing around with right now to look at formulating in the future. Stuff for mood, stuff for anti-aging. So there's cool stuff like ubiquinol is pretty cool. Saffron is very, very cool. I'm always playing around with new stuff, and some of these ones I'm very, very impressed by. But so saffron is the research on saffron is very, very powerful. Basically, it works as effectively as low level antidepressants, low dose antidepressants without any side effects, and it supports an increased libido. Saffron is very, very cool. Ubiquinol is like the usable form of CoQ10, and it helps power your cells, powers your mitochondria. And as you age, mitochondria function goes down. Ubiquinol is pretty cool. PQQ. I'm testing some cool stuff, but there's supplements can be really, really effective, especially if you're correcting deficiencies or especially if you're taking targeted supplements. Now, what I do not believe in, I think multivitamins, multiminerals are a complete and absolute waste of money. And the reason being is, I mean, the research shows it to really be ineffective, but multivitamins are underdosed in everything. And most people, you have sufficient vitamin mineral status in most things. It's just a few things that are deficient. Mm-hmm. And taking a multivitamin gives you a really, really low dose that doesn't really move the needle. And they usually, multivitamin and minerals want to save money. So they usually go for the most synthetic, lowest bioavailable version. So most people, multivitamin, multiminerals are a complete and absolute waste of money. I would almost say they're a scam. You want to get the real stuff, right? If you want to increase testosterone, zinc, magnesium, boron, pretty much everyone, if you're not getting sunlight, vitamin D3, pretty much everyone needs magnesium. Probiotics can be great too, especially if you're not eating, fermented foods and stuff like that. If you're not eating fish, fish oils. I mean, most of the obvious deficiencies are right in front of your eyes. And then some people have certain gene polymorphisms where their body struggles to get enough B12, struggles to get enough folate, which is what I have, right? So I'm not very good at converting folic acid to folate. So the B vitamins can be game changer for mood for a lot of people, but there's some very, very powerful supplements out there for different health goals, for different deficiencies that can make a world of a difference. Even in depression, a lot of depression can be solved with the right key ingredients, believe it or not, because if you're not getting omega-3s, right, your gut health is out of whack, you're low in magnesium, of course you're going to feel anxiety, depression. It's a byproduct of just your neurochemistry out of whack. If you get your body right, you get your health right, you get your nutrient status right, boom, improved. You add in a little saffron, which helps sort of, it's a natural, SSRI. You can keep more free floating saffron that can link to the neurons, so you feel good. So there's a lot. I just always believe that pretty much everything can be solved naturally if you're willing to look under the hood and do the right steps.
Yeah. Well, this is awesome, man.
Yeah, this was
I
great,
think we
bro.
covered so much. You gave so much value just in everything of dating and confidence and supplements and everything, man. And yeah, I'm just really grateful that you came on the show, man, because this was cool.
yeah,
It's a
thank you,
big
brother.
full
For
circle
real, thank
moment
you.
for me. It's just cool as I'm coming up in this podcast space. And
Dude, it's got to be one of my top favorite podcasts. And I rolled up with the buzz cut,
Yes, sir.
no alcohol for
And
30
his first
days.
time in Brooklyn, my man.
Yeah. First
You know,
time
I
in
hold
Brooklyn.
That, I hold
Yeah.
that very close to me. We introduced him to, you know what I'm saying?
Brooklyn,
So,
yeah. And this is like probably like some of the first pieces of content or maybe podcasts with the buzz cut, right?
Very first, man.
Wow.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Very first.
Yeah, I know it's gonna like shock the like once people see it online, they're gonna be like that Grego Gatlin because
Yeah, I think every guy at some point should just rip a buzz cut because
Yeah.
it takes kind of balls to do it, man. Like if you're used to having like long hair or like your hairstyle a certain way, it's very hard to shave it.
Was there a reason, or you just?
Well, I wanted to do it for a few years. I used to rock the buzz cut when I did like jujitsu when I was 18, and because long hair is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
When you're fucking rolling around and
around,
stuff,
yeah.
and even punching, hairs in your eyes. So, I've always wanted to bring it back, and then I just never pulled the trigger. But like it's hard if you're attached to your hair as a man. It's like almost a spiritual thing to freaking
100%.
restart it, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
every guy, you should do a buzz cut once in your life. And either it will look fucking cool and you'll look fucking good, you'll look fucking tough and hard, or it won't look good. And then that's a good lesson too.
Yeah.
You know?
I ain't gonna do that again.
It can only get better. Your hair can only grow long. So like,
Yeah.
there's two outcomes and both outcomes are good. You
Yeah,
know?
believe it or not, that's what I did. You didn't know me when I had long hair. I had really long hair. I went through my first breakup. I cut that shit. I never grew it again.
And if your girlfriend tells you don't buzz your hair,
Buzz it.
buzz it, dude. Buzz it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, brother.
Thank you, Greg. This was awesome.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure.
Yes, sir.